You see this cash? It was sitting in the bank a moment ago. I used to keep millions of dollars in the bank, and there are big reasons why I don't anymore. Right now, banks are under attack, and if you don't understand the latest threat, you're gonna wanna watch this.
One shot, not a future before, let's go.
When I was a teenager, my dad got me a paper route. I loved it because I started making money. It was my first real entrepreneurial anything, and I needed to set up a bank account. And guess which bank I set it up with? I set it up with Washington Mutual. Did you know in the last 20 years that Washington Mutual is 30 times larger than the largest bank crash that we've seen? And I got news from you. We got banks that are crashing all over again. We're definitely in a recession. There's a new threat on your money, and there's something you can do about it. Oh, it's like 2008 all over again. I had a pile of money in Silicon Valley Bank, and guess what? I was there when the bank went under for just a moment, and that weekend I thought, I just lost all my money because it's only FDIC insured up to $250,000. But you know what? The government came in, bailed them out, my money's safe, but guess what? Banks right now are under attack. Banks are not as stable as you might think. Banks put on a public image and an appearance of great stability. However, did you know that 560 banks have gone out of business since 2001, including some super serious big players? This year alone, First Republic, Silicon Valley Bank, and Signature Bank have all crashed, and they're just the first of many more banks to crash. And right now, if you have more than $250,000 sitting in a bank, you should be terrified because the government has said, we're not gonna keep bailing you out. If you've got more than that, we're not gonna insure any amount beyond that. So what should you be doing? And on top of that, we got inflation. Like, you understand that inflation over the last 2 years has teetered between 9 and 5%. That means that over a 5-year period of time, you could literally lose half of your money just from it being devalued. You look at the bank and the number doesn't change, but what you can buy is dropping dramatically. So money in the bank is like the dumbest place to put money anyway. What should you be doing instead? Keeping your money in the bank for a little bit of convenience is one thing. I pay my bills from my account, etc. But some people are actually accumulating money as if it's a strategy. You're giving up a lot of control when you put your money in the bank. When you put your money there in a savings account, you set yourself up to lose more than you gain. Check it out. There's a loss of value from inflation. In other words, if your savings account is giving you 0.0 nothing percent, but money is losing at the rate of 5, 7, or 9%, then that difference, that's what you're losing. They're not really compensating you for that. You also often have withdrawal restrictions, regulatory changes, potential bank runs, collapses. There's certainly now the threat of cyber attacks. I'm gonna tell you, a couple years ago, I almost had someone clean me out because they found a way to get deep into this cybersecurity issue that my company has since resolved. And I'm just gonna tell you right now, cash has never been scarier to have around. You gotta be doing something different. Remember GameStop? Mid-level banks like PacWest have actually become the newest meme stock, just like GameStop of 2022. Redditors are artificially inflating and crashing bank stock values as a means of protest. This is straight from Wall Street Journal. In other words, it's no longer organizations that are against your money. You also have Redditors that have the ability to impact the valuation on a bank, just like a cyber attack person can come in and try to steal your money that way as well. Like, this world is becoming less and less safe. As a result, I'm enhancing all of my cybersecurity, but beyond that, money shouldn't be sitting stagnant. It's got to be doing something different. Now, you do have some alternatives, right? You've got stocks and bonds and crypto, but lately those are not doing so hot, and in a recession they're not. You also have precious metals. That's a hard tangible. It'll go up in value. Life insurance, if it's a whole life policy, actually is faring very well in this kind of recession. But the number one place where I'm putting my money right now, the best alternative, it is the game of real estate. It's the best way to retain the value of your savings over time. For me, I on average make between 25 and 35% a year on my money with having my money in a hard tangible asset. That means when the economy is doing well, it's there. When it's flat, it's there. When it's going down, I'm glad that I actually put a lot of my assets in the game of real estate. That way your money appreciates with time instead of losing value like a bank account. And the best asset, the best real asset, well, that's a physical property. There's a new trend in single-family real estate that most people aren't aware of. Over the next decade, 10% of real estate market share will then be owned by REITs and large hedge funds. They're pouring $55 billion right now into single-family homes. They're buying them at market value. They're buying them above market value because they understand what will happen to this asset class over the next 10 to 20 years. They know that we're missing 5 million homes. It's going to keep driving the value up. They're going to get so rich off of this. But you know what? You could as well if you're smart with your money. There's a lot of reasons why people don't invest in real estate. They assume they're going to have tenants, drive to Home Depot. They're going to have to it's going to turn into a job. But did you know that making millions of dollars in real estate can also be 100% passive? As in, there's a link below where you can learn how people all over the world are investing in real estate with me, but they're not putting time, effort, or energy into it, but they are leveraging my track record on my last $2 billion of real estate transactions. For example, imagine $50,000 sitting in a 401k or an IRA or equity in your home or just a bank account, and you're not feeling keen about where it's at. Did you know $50,000 growing at 25% compounded annually, which in real estate is very realistic? Did you know that by the time you get to retirement 20 years from now, that grows into potentially $4.3 million? If this number is actually more like my regular returns, the number's not 4.3 million, it's significantly larger than that. So if you want to take this recession, the threat on your money in banks, and turn it into a positive, that's very easy to do. Click the link below and learn about how me and people like me are investing in real estate. You can see my track record on thousands of deals. Click the link, check it out. There's something smarter for you to do with your money. Now, there's a method to my madness when it comes to investing in real estate. There are 12 rules that I follow for getting it done. And if you want to watch them, click right here. Let me show you my 12 rules of investing that never fail me.